In a world obsessed with balance, the idea of a perfectly harmonious life is often presented as the ultimate goal. But what if true fulfillment lies not in balance, but in embracing intentional imbalance? The myth of balance challenges the conventional wisdom that everything in life needs to be evenly distributed. Instead, it invites you to design a life that prioritizes what truly matters, even if it means some areas are a little out of sync. Sometimes, to create something extraordinary, you need to embrace the chaos and flow with what energizes you. Today we will talk about the myth of balance, designing a life that's intentionally unbalanced. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. Challenging the equilibrium. For generations, the concept of work-life balance has been held up as the ultimate goal. A harmonious state where career, family, health, and personal pursuits are all given equal time and attention. This mythical ideal, however, often proves to be an unattainable source of stress and guilt. The varied pursuit of perfect balance implies a static, unchanging state, which is antithetical to the dynamic nature of human life. Instead of striving for a rigid equilibrium, it is more realistic and empowering to embrace a model of intentional imbalance. This approach acknowledges that different seasons of life demand different priorities. There are times when a career push requires intense focus and long hours, and other times when family or personal well-being must take center stage. The myth of balance suggests a zero-sum game, where investing in one area automatically detracts from another. The intentionally unbalanced life, by contrast, is a strategic allocation of energy, a conscious choice to prioritize certain areas at specific times to achieve larger long-term goals. 2. The season of sprint and the season of rest. Life, much like the natural world, operates in seasons. There are seasons for sprinting and seasons for resting, and to ignore this rhythm is to invite burnout. A young entrepreneur launching a startup, for example, may need to dedicate a disproportionate amount of time and energy to their business, sacrificing some social engagements and personal leisure. This isn't a failure to find balance. It's a strategic sprint aimed at building a foundation for future stability. Similarly, a new parent may need to reallocate significant time and energy to childcare, with other areas of life temporarily taking a back seat. The key is not to view these periods as permanent states of imbalance, but as temporary necessary phases. The intentionally unbalanced life recognizes that these sprints are finite and must be followed by periods of rest and recalibration. It's about a long-term view, understanding that an intense focus now can lead to greater freedom and flexibility later. 3. Prioritizing with purpose. Designing an intentionally unbalanced life requires a clear sense of purpose and a ruthless approach to prioritization. Instead of trying to give everything 20% of your time, you decide what deserves 80% of your attention at this particular moment. This isn't about neglecting other areas entirely, but about making conscious, informed choices. If you're pursuing a passion project, it may mean saying no to certain social events or scaling back on a hobby for a few months. This isn't a passive neglect, but an active decision. The first step is to identify your core values and long-term goals. What is truly important to you right now? Is it professional growth, creative expression, building a family, or improving your health? Once you have clarity, you can allocate your time and energy accordingly. This purposeful prioritization replaces the guilt of not doing enough with the satisfaction of doing what matters most right now. 4. The fallacy of equal attention. The myth of balance often leads to a diluted, unfocused effort across all areas of life. When you try to give equal attention to your career, your family, your fitness, your social life, and your hobbies, you risk making mediocre progress in every single one. An intentionally unbalanced life, conversely, allows for deep, immersive engagement. Imagine a student preparing for a critical exam. Their life becomes temporarily unbalanced as they dedicate the majority of their time to studying. They might skip social outings or put a hobby on hold. This isn't a flaw in their life design. It's the very strategy that leads to success. The depth of focus and the resulting mastery in one area often provides a greater sense of fulfillment than the shallow satisfaction of juggling many things at once. This approach isn't about neglecting, it's about concentrating your efforts for maximum impact. 5. Building a flexible framework. An intentionally unbalanced life is not a chaotic, rudderless existence. It requires a flexible but disciplined framework. This framework is built on a clear understanding of your current priorities, as well as an awareness of when those priorities need to shift. It's a continuous process of self-assessment and adjustment. For example, a professional might spend a year heavily invested in their career, but then schedule a sabbatical or a period of reduced work hours to focus on travel or personal growth. The framework is not a rigid schedule, but a mental model. It includes setting boundaries, saying no to commitments that don't align with your current focus, and being comfortable with the temporary imbalance. This flexibility is key to avoiding burnout, as it allows you to adapt to life's inevitable changes and demands without feeling like a failure. 6. Communication is key to an unbalanced life. Successfully living an intentionally unbalanced life requires open and honest communication with those around you. Your spouse, family, and friends need to understand your current priorities and the reasons behind them. If you are in a season of intense work, explaining the long-term goal to your partner can transform potential conflict into shared support. For example, you might say, "I'm going to be working long hours for the next 3 months to get this project off the ground. After that, I'll be able to take more time off." This transparency prevents misunderstandings and resentment. It also helps in setting realistic expectations. By communicating your intentions, you create a support system that respects your choices and helps you navigate the temporary sacrifices. This communal understanding is a vital component of making the unbalanced life a sustainable and positive experience. 7. Beyond the guilt of not having it all. The myth of having it all is a powerful source of modern-day guilt, particularly for women. The pressure to be a perfect parent, a successful professional, a supportive partner, and a vibrant socialite all at once is immense. The intentionally unbalanced life offers a powerful antidote to this anxiety. It gives you permission to not have it all, at least not all at the same time. It's an empowering choice to focus on what matters most to you right now, without apologizing for what you are temporarily de-emphasizing. This approach encourages a deeper satisfaction and a greater sense of purpose, as you are not constantly struggling to meet an impossible ideal. 8. The long-term harmony of an unbalanced life. While the short-term reality of an intentionally unbalanced life may seem like a series of trade-offs, the long-term result is a deeper, more profound sense of harmony. By dedicating yourself fully to a single area during a specific season, you build a foundation of success, fulfillment, or personal growth that wouldn't be possible through a diluted effort. The entrepreneur who sprinted for a year now has a thriving business that gives them the financial freedom to prioritize family. The student who studied intensely is now a successful professional with time for hobbies. The harmony in this model isn't a constant, static state. It's a dynamic rhythm of focus and rest, sprint and recovery. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up. Leave a comment and click the button to subscribe.